2 days to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for providing a synoptic view, but in a very detailed manner, about the state and the initiatives going on the aquaculture. Thank you very much for your words, sir. Now I would like to request Ms. Ute Riekman, Project Director, Swati GIZ India, for welcome note.
Yes, good morning to all of you, and a warm welcome also from my side. And I really can say it is a great pleasure to do this from this venue in Orissa, near the Chilika Lake, which is so famous, and I knew even before, and that you can see before the background of I myself coming from Germany, from the most northern state, Schleswig-Holstein, where you have the Waddensee, and the Waddensee also is a Ramsar site. So you can see already here there is a big collaboration on wetlands between India and Germany, but that's the first site, only a personal note from my side. Also, I'm honored to stand before you on this important occasion as we gather to the National Conference on Integrated Agroecological-based Aquaculture and Aquatic Food Systems for promoting livelihood of women self-help group members in India. The significance of this event cannot be overstated, as it represents a convergence of efforts, ideas, and expertise aimed at transforming the landscape of aquaculture and food systems in India. I would like to extend a warm welcome also to all of you on behalf of the Swati project, means the support of agroecological transformation in India and GIZ India as a whole. Your presence today underscores the importance of the work we are doing and your commitment to advancing sustainable development in India. The backdrop against which we gather today is one of profound significance. The Indian G20 presidency has laid the groundwork for a green development agenda with a particular emphasis on addressing climate change and embracing sustainable traditions. In this context, the Swati project is actively supporting the NRLM of the Ministry of Rural Development to collectively address the challenges of advancing the UN 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and tackling climate change. One of the cornerstones of this approach is the integration of agroecological principles in Indian aquaculture and food systems. Agroecology is a holistic and sustainable approach that does not only ensure food security, but also enhances the well-being of both people and the environment. It involves designing and managing agricultural systems that mimic natural ecosystems, reducing the use of synthetic inputs and harmful practices. When combined with integrated aquaculture, it holds the promise of revolutionizing India's aquaculture sector. Integrated aquaculture, a traditional practice in India, offers substantial ecological benefits such as nutrient recycling and shared land and water resources. This leads to a more resilient ecosystem and reduced environment impact, ensuring the long-term sustainability of aquaculture. The combination of aquaculture with crop cultivation maximizes resource utilization and minimizes waste, making it a vital component of India's agriculture and food production sector. As India stands among the world's top 5 fish exporting countries, it is essential to harness the potential of agroecology in aquaculture to address the challenges of environmental degradation, resource overuse, and chemical usage. The inland fisheries and aquaculture production in India have doubled in recent years, making it a significant contributor to livelihoods and nutrition security. However, the popularity of monocrop-based fish farming has placed financial burdens on the entrepreneurs and posed risk on indigenous fish varieties. Embracing agroecological practices in the aquaculture sector can revitalize the blue economy. This approach enhances the resilience of small and marginal farmers, protects wetlands and water bodies, and explores integrated farming systems that secure livelihoods and nutrition. In addition to table-size fish production, ancillary sectors like ornamental fish, processed fish sales, and various aquatic food products are emerging, shaping the aquatic enterprise sector in India. The Ministry of Rural Development aims to promote integrated aquaculture and ornamental fish-based livelihoods among women self-help group members, offering them viable livelihoods. And I can tell you, we have yesterday met some women self-help group members or leaders from 8 women self-help groups, and all of them confirmed they are ready to implement this. Agroecology can also play a pivotal role in conserving agrobiodiversity, responding to the increasing demand for eco-friendly products and ensuring food security. One such example is fish-friendly rice, produced from irrigated, rain-fed, and deep-water rice ecosystems, which values aquatic species, diversity, and their importance for rural livelihoods. This conference is an essential platform for the convergence of experts, policymakers, researchers, and stakeholders from the fisheries and aquaculture sectors. Our discussions will focus on innovative approaches, best agroecological practices, and the integration of agroecology in aquaculture to ensure the livelihoods of women self-help groups. The conference agenda encompasses crucial topics, including agroecology-based aquaculture livelihood, exploring aquatic food systems, promoting sustainable agroecological practices, technological innovation, gender integration, and value chain development. These discussions will not only shed light on the potential of agroecology in aquaculture, but also highlight the importance of expanding gender inclusiveness and equity in this sector. This two-day conference is set to chart a new course for the aquaculture sector in India. It aims to develop an implementation strategy for promoting aquaculture-based livelihoods for women self-help groups, launch knowledge products on integrated aquaculture, and identify the scope for potential convergence between the NRLM MRD and the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. I believe this conference will be instrumental in shaping the future of aquaculture and aquatic food systems in India, and I look forward to the insights, ideas, and strategies that will emerge from our discussions. Together, we can create a more sustainable and equitable future for India. Thank you very much for your attention, and I wish all of us a productive and enlightening conference.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for the motivational word, and not the only motivational, but I would say thank you very much for detailing on the nuances of the sustainable aquaculture system, which are a challenge right now, that how we can leverage these nuances for providing livelihood opportunity for women SHG member which are working on at grassroots level. Thank you very much, ma'am. Now, going forward with the inaugural addresses, I would like to request Mr. Raman Wadhwa, sir, Deputy Director, Day NRLM, Ministry of Rural Development, for providing few motivational word and inaugurate the session, sir.
Mr. Rajiv Ehel from GIZ, Mesote, and Dr. Mishra from NABARD. August gathering of experts from various institutes and institutions, organizations of aquaculture, fisheries, and the knowledge partner, of course, the Jal Jivika, and our 12 states. I welcome you from Ministry of Rural Development and, of course, GIZ together to this beautiful workshop on fisheries. You are all aware that as of today, we are a culmination of around 9.84 crore SHG women who are in various livelihood activities and are in different stages. As a livelihood institution, you may be aware that there are multiple things which are going on to enhance the income of SHG members. And it's not that we want to restrict ourselves to one single activity. And that is the reason that Day NRLM is continuously working with all of you to have your ideas, your thoughts, and your experiences to get into some good livelihood activities. Just now, Mesute mentioned that this kind of workshop will bring in the gender inclusiveness and better livelihoods. But to me, I think we should go forward and look into how we can create an environment for the SHG members that they can go and practice these activities per se at the field level. You all are aware that as of now, some data says that some 2.8 million farmers or the persons in the country, 28 million if not wrong, are involved in fishery activities. And almost 60% of those account for the women's. Nevertheless, we don't have that data, what kind of SHG members are there. But I am sure that at least half of them would be from the SHG core field. Our colleagues, as you understand that creating livelihoods is one part, creating opportunities is one part, and most important is how we can get them involved into business activities. We have a pool of around 1.91 lakh CRPs, the community resource persons, who are there in the form of a resource, a social capital that can help SHG members for this entire scenario of business activities in the fisheries or in other kind of activities related to fisheries and aquaculture. But we don't want to restrict them. We need to enlarge their activities. We understand that over the years, the focus and narrative of the program has been constantly evolving to answer more dynamic national and global policy. But point is whether fisheries are included into it, whether aquaculture is there, whether we are looking for fisheries as an additional activity. So this workshop will give us an opportunity to understand how we can go in for large number of activities which must be known to you, means the state officials who are here, the state personals who are here, that how you are going to leverage the capacities of the institutions and how you are going to implement. Dr. Nayak mentioned about cage culture. It has been a very good program, and in the states like Jharkhand, it went beyond. Then in the case of ornamental fisheries, Well, as he mentioned that they have taken an initiative with that also. Ministry itself, I would thank our additional secretary sir and the officials from Ministry of Fisheries that we together have also collaborated, and in the whole of society approach we have signed an MOU that has been shared with you. How to leverage that kind of things means what kind of technical expertise we can take from the Ministry of Fisheries. We do not want to restrict ourselves to some set of partners. Fisheries has got a huge infrastructure and experts therein, be it the experts from SAIF, be it from SIFA or any other institute you name in. But point is how we are going to leverage that strength. As an initiative, recently we from the day NRLM have sanctioned 2 special projects, one in the state of Uttar Pradesh and another in the state of Karnataka for the value chain development in fisheries. So one is, I talked about the experts, the international experts like GIZ. You have the activities, the smaller one. The third is the expertise of our fisheries section of ministry, and within day NRLM there is a large provision where special projects can also be sanctioned, or you can take up as a livelihood activity within your entire program with a focused approach, so that the focus is not related only to just training and capacity building. You have to create an environment where some kind of income generation is also possible. Even you can come up with producer groups or the activities like FFPOs, Fish Farmer Producer Organization, which are already provisioned in the by the Ministry of Fisheries. Then Pradhan Mantri Matsya Yojana. It's a very, I would say good, it is a very beautiful activity. It's a beautiful yojana. Why can't we leverage it? Who is stopping us? It's a humble request to the states that let's leverage those kind of things. So this is just an idea I'm saying. Today we have an August experts from various institutions, be it from NABARD, from Chilka Development Authority, Wetland International, Department of Fisheries, Government of Odisha, experts from Cochin, means across the country we have the experts. Kindly have a good learning from them, because they are going to give you lot of thoughts. Let's have and put in our hands together, learn from them, and what we can take from here is something new. And let's have some kind of small document also. Maybe tomorrow we can have a small discussion over this. What are the proper takeaways we have taken? I would request my colleague Jairam and his friend from GIZ Vaibhav, who have been working hard since last many days for this workshop. So if we can have a small document also prepared. And most importantly, you can see that colleagues from states like Meghalaya are also there. So it's from across the country, this is an activity, and we should certainly take an opportunity to learn whatever is there. And I would also request the experts who are here, just it's a humble request that whatever we are discussing, if those can be correlated with the SHG system. You are aware of that SHG is a group of 10-15 women from the rural background and the most vulnerable poor women. So if that is correlated, it will help our colleagues from the states to understand and grasp the what you have with you. So it will be of great help. Once again, I would like to thank Government of Odisha and GIZ for organizing this workshop, and let's have a very fruitful session for the 2 days. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for a very enriching inaugural address, sir. I'll try to summarize your long lecture into 4 Ps, that how we can take this programmatic approach from program to practice, practice to production, and to permanency. So 4 P's: program to practice, practice to production, and permanency. Thank you very much. And sir, we'll try we are having working group sessions tomorrow where deliberations will happen on all these aspects. And the aim is to come up with a strategy, implementation strategy note with the concrete action points. Thank you very much. Going forward, I would like to invite Mr. Rajiv Ahel, Director, Natural Resource Management and Agroecology Program, GIZ India, for continuing at the inaugural address.
Good morning, everybody. Heartfelt respect to Additional Secretary Charanjit Singh, sir. All the distinguished colleagues on the stage representing various and all the experts and practitioners here in the school of learning and bringing together experiences. I think we are all invested in what we've been discussing so far. Converting resources in a sustainable manner into sustainable livelihoods which are good for the people and good for the environment. So how do we do it? And in this, I just wanted to bring in a little bit of information, knowledge, experience from the GIZ side, so that we can also look at partnerships beyond what you may know in terms of what is available. The Indo-German Development Cooperation goes back almost about 65 to 70 years. So it started almost at the time India became independent, and poverty was the challenge that India was facing. And if you remember that time, most big nations in the world had given a prophecy that India will implode as a country within 5 to 7 years. Even people as famous as Churchill. He said this is not a country that is meant to be. The fact that we are here, that the fact we are an emerging, strong South-South nation, the fact that G20 has shown what India is capable of, I think really puts to rest all such past worries. It also shows that when we put ourselves to work, we can solve many problems. So I think this workshop is very well intended. Now, in all of this journey, the Indo-German Development Cooperation, the technical part of the cooperation from the government of Germany is represented through an implementation organization that you know as GIZ. My colleague Utesh shared with you about the Swati project and the work that goes on with DNRLM and this huge world's largest movement of organizing women as an agency of change. The other things that Swati also does are very interesting. Swati works with Ministry of Agriculture to help sustainable agriculture that is being done by the government, by the various civil society organizations, bring it together, especially in the states of Assam, Karnataka and Madhya Pradesh, to showcase models. And the idea of model is not to prove something. Idea of model is where you and we work together and create solutions which then can be replicated and can solve some of the problems that we know. A lot of things are happening, there are some bottlenecks, how do we fix them? The third part of what Swati does very strongly and well is also with Dr. Sudhanshu and the NABARD team here, where our association goes back to almost 30 years. Right now, Swati is working, so NABARD was one of the first agencies in the country to come up with a program wherein all the watersheds that have been completed across the country and the TDF projects, the water is available, how you convert this into agriculture which is sustainable. So actually Swati is now working with the program that NABARD created called Jiva in 11 states and 25, and I'm sure Dr. Sudhanshu will share more, so I'll not get there. So that's the third thing. But also there's been a project working in your state here in Odisha and in Assam with Ministry of Fishery at a national level and with the 2 state rural livelihood missions and the departments of fishery called SAFAL. My colleague Pratap, who leads it, is also here, and you can get more details from him. What is interesting is that that project has tried to work with fisheries and livelihood mission to find out if, so of course we have looked at different types and forms of fishery. This one has focused most on the inland pond fishery, because that is where 60 to 70% of the poorest of the women are doing their fishery on the small backyard farm. So how do you, with very low inputs, because otherwise the whole fishery becomes run only by the feed industry or of high input costs. So how do you reduce the cost of inputs? How do you make it sustainable so that you can even get a PGS certification? How do you bring better management techniques so that the individual women and their self-help groups can do better water and fish management, especially with IMC, which is what they grow usually? And also, how do you help them to get better markets? How do you create a whole system of entrepreneurs who can support them? How can the cluster federations become quasi-FPOs doing better selling for better fish? So all of this work is going on, and one can look at that. I'm sure the Odisha team would also share this. Another project we have is called VASCA, which works with Ministry of Rural Development on MG Narega's use, and also with Ministry of Jal Shakti. Now the opportunity here is, in each district, if you remember, through a program of the government of India, Amrit Sarovars were created. So here are these brand new reservoirs. All traditional reservoirs have traditional rights, leases, legacy, and a background. You're looking at something like 10 to 12,000 new reservoirs that have been created, which are freely available for new institutions to take over. The water part has been done. The aquaculture part still remains. So I think here's another opportunity that one can pick up very, very quickly. And also Ministry of Jal Shakti runs the whole Namame Gange program. And how can we then also influence riverine fishery, especially in those rivers which are slowly, hopefully, reducing pollution as well. We also have a very strong number of projects working on various value chains. And here I want to relate to what Raman Wadhwaji and others said. Fishery can move from a pond to integrated in terms of things that can grow around the pond, but also if there is a farmer working on cotton, on tea or spices, can we also, from a resilience perspective, not making them dependent only on one or source of income, especially a cash source, which can be destroyed by climate or market vagrancies? Can we introduce aquaculture there? So we have huge value chains of work with the various ministries and in various states, where there are already supply chains operating for various commodities, and aquaculture can actually be loaded on top of that. It can integrate into that very well, and we can share more about that. I think one of the most difficult questions we are dealing with is how to separate between production fishery and conservation fishery. And as soon as we get into wetlands and river systems, the whole dilemma is, how do you keep the natural fish culture, the natural ecosystem alive while still making it productive? And this balance, how to do it. So we have a very interesting wetlands project also here in Odisha and multiple states of India on Ramsar sites. My colleague Kirtiman is here who leads it, and he can be available to help design these elements as well. When it comes to the coastal fishery, I think one of the biggest challenges we are realizing is, and I saw this, heard this on Saturday in the World Food Fair in Delhi, it is said that very soon we will reach a point that in most rivers and reservoirs, the plastic volume by mass will exceed the biomass. You are the experts, so you're endorsing it. So how do we look at this? So we have actually a whole project on what is called marine litter. How can we work with small rivulets, rivers? How do we control this plastic going out and stop it with mass awareness campaigns? So in a sense, I've tried to give to you a bit of a landscape about what GIZ does, with the idea that if you need something, you can reach out to our colleagues and include those elements in the designs that you're trying to and wanting to do. I think from that perspective, and then the last thing I want to say is also to endorse what was discussed, and having myself set up a cooperative of women in something like 1985 and learning from it, converting a savings group into a production groups needs different skill sets, and I think that work is going on. But I think all the work that we do on the input side, the water and fish side, the technical inputs, the management aspects of selling it, the governance aspects of running productive institutions, because very often the economy is good, but the governance sides are weak. So bringing all these elements in together in a sequential form is, I won't say is a challenge, is the opportunity we need to work together on. And herein, I think as GIZ, we remain fully committed to support the NRLM, the State Rural Livelihood Missions, all the ministries that we work with, and all the state governments in being able to take it forward. And I fully endorse this idea, Ramanji, that by tomorrow, this document that we produce should have state-wise, if possible, clear actionable areas and who will do what by when. And also, if we are needing to do this, are there, you mentioned PMSY, are there some things from the national level that need to be changed, improved? Because I think we have very senior people with us who can take that message back. And if there are policy attunements that are needed, these could be done as well. So with those words, really looking forward to learning from you and contributing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rajiv. Thank you very much, Mr. Rajiv Vihel. And it's really interesting to see the GIZ and Indo-German cooperation as a bouquet, and you don't realize how beautiful a bouquet is until you take a closer look. And thank you very much for providing a very magnifying view about the Indo-German cooperation. Thank you very much, sir. Now I would like to request Dr. Sudhanshu K.K. Mishra, sir, CGM, NABARD, Regional Office, Odisha. Please come on dais, sir, for the inaugural lecture.
Distinguished guests on the dais, my dear friends, my association with GIZ now goes back more than 20 years, and we were involved with GIZ on an audit manual for PACs. So that was long time back, and I conducted programs on corporate governance for cooperative banks, and the corporate governance module for PACs was designed by GIZ, sir. And for a brief period, 2 years, I headed a Center for Promotion of Excellence in Cooperatives, which was again floated by GIZ. And I had an honor of going to Germany twice and conducting a program on agri-value chain systems with the support of GIZ. So, you know, it is nice to be back on this forum. It is a very proud moment for me, sir. 30 years back, sir, I was at DDM of Shravasti, and we kept floated 5 or 10 SHGs, and my RRB chairman would not budge. He said, this is not financing. Bole tractor lena hai le lo, pump set lena hai le lo, but what kind of finance is this? But I said, sir, let us go to their house. And we landed at 6 a.m. at one of the ladies' house, और उसने मंजी डाल दी, खाद डाल दी, and then she showed her farm, एक कप चाय पिलाने के बाद में, and she was using a foot pedal for cultivating vegetables on, sir, 2 acres plot of land. You know, so SHGs really that they come to occupy the central stage of our policy advocacy in Government of India, state government. So I am very happy that our growth policies are now developed around women. And women have emerged as a beautiful banking borrowers. So they joke that if you want a bank loan, send your wife. that will be easier. But on a serious note, sir, when we were working on NRLM with Government of India, long time back, under Prakash Bakshi sir, he was our chairman then. Then we said ki savings, thrift, even if it is 10 rupees, it has to be thrift. Why thrift? We said because thrift is necessary because your problems are not that big. And the exploitative systems in which you get into are very small exploitative systems. 2000 रुपए का लोन चाहिए, डॉक्टर के घर जाना है, and then you take it at 30%. You know, to avoid that, we said that SHGs should have, it was a social system which transformed into a huge financial social systems, and we are very proud of it, sir. And we stand by our SHGs. And we say, ki, how do we take care of these SHGs, sir? So when we were designing this, when we were part of NABARD and Government of India and state governments were discussing on creating NRLM strategies, then we said community-based organization, federation of SHGs at all levels, they are going to be the institutions which will take care of the future. And as you say, now these community-based organization, SHG federations, they are quasi-FPOs or more of FPOs. Because I have seen in Himachal Pradesh and I have seen in Orissa that aggregation is possible. Our SHG federations and our FPOs are doing aggregation. Aggregation is possible. But beyond aggregation, how do you take it to processing and marketing? That will require infrastructure investments, and that will also require skill sets. So that, I think with a robust SHG federations at place, and with 8 crore women member of SHGs, 7 lakh SHGs, and 8 crore women, SHG members. So I say that the robust SHG systems and federations are in place. So our first focus in NABARD is to strengthen these community-based organizations. First thing. Second, sir, GIZ went into audit of packs, and therefore I say there is a robust system of institutions in cooperatives which are working with fisheries and dairy, sir. So again, we in NABARD would like to work very closely with existing systems, sir. For example, OMFED, sir, OMFED has around 3,000 odd milk societies, and we are working very closely with OMFED, and we say that you should have adequate working capital and your machinery should work at the optimum level so that the milk routes are, sir, becoming commercially viable. So that is the strategy we are following. Coming to fisheries in Orissa, as I was telling, we have a 480-kilometer long coastline, and then we have freshwater where we have tanks and ponds, reservoirs, and jheels, swamps, etc. So we have around 6.76 lakh hectare freshwater ponds. Brackish waters are, because we have coasts, so we have a big brackish water system here. And the data tells me that there are 3,890 odd villages which have fishermen. And if we analyze the kind of fishery ecosystems which exist in Orissa, what we see is that in marine fishery, which we have 480 kilometers of the coast, marine fishery we have a capture. Capture women are not involved, but processing women are involved. So every day when I come to the office, right behind this hotel, we have a fish market, big fish market, and I only see women there, sir. So the capture men folk will do, but the subsequent part, drying of fish, taking the fish to the market, and marketing interventions, women are actively involved, and we need to strengthen them in that, sir. And as a part of our idea, what we have done is that in marine fisheries, we have created a large number of small jetties, sir. And now, as a second part, we would like to go ahead and create other infrastructures, sir. Cold storages and small markets, maybe, and I would like to inform the House that a large number of our FPOs are working on vegetables. So with the active support of state government, what we want to do is we want to create a 2 to 10 metric ton of cold chambers and solar dryers. So state government has got a target of 1,000 this year, sir, and they have kindly consented that 168 of our FPOs will get a cold chamber by end of this year, sir. That will be a big achievement for us. तो सब्जी जब प्राइस बहुत ज़्यादा हो जाएगा तो हम उस पर काम करेंगे. We have 12 FPOs of fisheries also, sir, in Odisha, and I would like to say that it is time we created a cold storage infrastructure in the hands of SHG federations, sir, and in the hand of FPOs, sir. And NABARD, in addition to the RIDF kitty, we have, sir, some other funds. Food processing fund is available with us, which is a very cheap cost fund, and we are in active persuasion with state government कि इस पे भी थोड़ा सा काम करने की जरूरत है. एक बड़ी चीज, सर, one more thing which I wanted to say, कि when you come to processing and marketing, sir, you require a new skill set, sir. Canning requires a new skill set. Solar drying requires a new skill set, sir. You know, and those technologies are available in the market and in the labs, successfully tested. Now is the time to upscale them and take them to the field, sir, with the women, sir. You know, one example, one classical example is hatcheries. You see West Bengal, which is a state which is close to us, and hatcheries, you know, has thrived in West Bengal because of a small pokery model. Each house has a poker. So that is a model I think we have to do, and therefore, as South Koreans say, no, the strategy for marketing is to let the people taste the food. So where we have now large number of good working, you know, impactful projects available, and I think in NABARD what we can do is with the cooperation of GIZ and state government, of course, and government of India, that we can upscale them and create large number of demonstration units at SHG level. After all, our green revolution has progressed because of agricultural demonstrations also. So that is one strategy where we would like to work together. We will be here for next 2 days, and we will listen to your deliberations, and I will be very happy if we can create an action plan. And NABARD, I promise you that our aim is गांव बढ़े तो देश बढ़े, and we have further added to this our slogan, and we said महिलाएं बढ़े तो गांव बढ़े. So what we want to say is कि let us invest in areas where women SHG members are involved, sir. Let us create their capacities in sectors where women SHG members are either involved or they can take the role. Let us strengthen our SHG federations which have been created under NRLM, and also FPOs which have been created under various ecosystems by NABARD, by state government, by other institutions. And also let us continue to focus on creating skill sets, sir, and canning units, sir. So when I came to Orissa, I am a Brahmin, never touched a fish. And then I said, ki if I have to work in Orissa and I have never touched a fish, that is a big handicap. That is a big handicap. So I told my wife, chalo yaar Chilka, we'll go to Chilka. And whole one day we spent with fish farmers. And for the first time held the fish also in hand. But nevertheless, it is livelihood. And NABARD, we take pride in addressing issues where the shoe pinches. So we'll be very happy. SHGs are in the center stage. We are very happy. Thousands of people have contributed to today. It has come. And fisheries is one of the major areas of livelihood, and we would really work for strengthening. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sudhanshu K.K. Mishra, sir. Thank you very much for the great address. And sir, I think you already addressed a big quest under this roof, which we have, that production, biodiversity versus livelihood. And you actually addressed, you know, a few key points that not skilling is important, but asset creation is as well as important as strengthening the CVOs. So sir, जैसे बोला जाता है कि हर छोटा या बड़ी कामयाबी का हिस्सा छोटे छोटे कदमों से होती है. I think these small steps will lead to the greater success stories. Thank you very much, sir. Now I would like to invite respected Shri Charanjit Singh sir, Additional Secretary, Minister of Rural Development, Government of India, for the keynote address of the conference.
Thank you, Vaibhav. And good morning to all, and especially the dignitaries on the dais, Ms. Ute Rickman, Rajiv Ahel, Zanshu Mishra ji, Mr. Nayak, Raman Vadhva, and all the experts and the officers from other states and experts. Again, I would like to thank everybody that we have assembled here for such an important thought that how we can ensure the livelihoods in the fishery sector. Why should I say fishery sector? I want to say the aquatic sector, because that conveys the whole message properly. Fishery, we restrict ourselves to very small part of the whole aquatic system. But there is one saying regarding the fish which I wanted to use, and I just read yesterday only: fish for the health, fish for the wealth. Not only if it provides the money, but the health is also very important for our poor people, because they get the good proteins from the fish only. So that part is also very important. And why I am focusing this? Because we deal with the rural poor women. They are very small and marginal farmers, and especially the tribal areas. So they may be very backward. But for them, this aquatic ecosystem is very critical. For them, this protein intake is very important. And so before I go ahead with my talk, I will just want to thank Rajiv and the GIZ team that I was discussing this idea with them for a long time, and ultimately this day has come that we are sitting here and discussing this idea. And this idea is very close to my heart, and I feel that this needs to be tackled. So this is not one off that we are holding one workshop today. So I am forcing my team to work on this again and again. Only then we will reach somewhere, and then only we would be able to make some contribution to the society, which is our main mandate. That's why we need to work upon this. So okay, so that was thanks part, and I would like to thank Mr. Sudhanshu also, that he has already opened so many doors for our SRLM, that we can take so much help from the NABARD also. How the help can be taken from the RIADF or other instruments of the NABARD, and I think we should take the help from the NABARD, and there Mr. Shaji is also very close and known to me, and he is always saying to me that we should help SHG somehow. So where the whole team of the NABARD is on board, I think this is the golden opportunity, and we should utilize this opportunity and take maximum benefit out of the NABARD. So that is the thing I wanted to say. So first of all, I would like to say, as I mentioned, that fishery is one part. We need to address the whole system of the water or aquatic. Why I am saying this? There is fish, there are prawns, there are crabs, there are shrimps, so many things. There is algae is there, then seaweeds are there. We need to address this. Why this? Then there are chestnuts are there, makhanas are there. Why not? We need to address these things also. Then there is new concept is coming, aquatic ecotourism. Why not? So that is also very important. So the whole concept of the aquatics needs to be addressed. As Rajiv will support me, like we say that the sustainable agriculture, we say that the soil must be like this, then only the agriculture will come. So I will take it this forward that only the water should be of certain quality, then all these things will be there. So the water should also be as good as the soil is there. I think somehow we neglect this part, but I feel that focus should equally, if not more, should be given to the water part also. Only then we can ensure the sustainable contributions from various things I mentioned. So that is the first thing I wanted to say, that we need to work upon this. And the second thing I want to say is that we need to focus on the new developments and technologies in this sector also. So as you must have known about the biofloc is there, then recirculatory aquaculture system is there. So we need to focus on them also, because so much developments are taking place in the technology, and we should leverage that technology also. So we need to work upon that. And as Rajiv and Raman Vadhva already mentioned that after the deliberations of this workshop, we should come up with some action plan or strategic paper that how we need to move ahead. So it may not be a very longish paper, even if 2-3 pages are prepared that we will do so much in this particular state. I think that will be a good idea, and we can follow it up also accordingly, and can take further action accordingly. And as has been mentioned about the FPOs also, so FFPO, that is the fisheries FPO, is also a very good idea, and we need to work upon this. Not only that, there can be different FPOs, like for the seed there can be different, for hatcheries this can be different, and for the table fish, etc. So different FPOs can be there. So we need to work upon these things also. And I am quite happy to say that the fishery department is also on board, and they are pushing us again and again that you should take our help as much as possible. So my request will be that we should take the help of the fishery department also in this regard, because they have got a mandate also, like this Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. We should take their help, and we can do a lot better with this regard. And so, and before I go ahead, I think we need to work on convergence also. So this is one part, fishery. Then there is so many funds are available, like the PMFME scheme. So it's a very good scheme, and you would be happy to know that just 2-3 days back only, Honorable Prime Minister released this seed component of the PMFME scheme to 1 lakh SHG members. So that is a huge achievement for our SHG members. So this also we can leverage. And now this Ministry of Food Processing Industry is asking us that we should go for the higher order enterprises. So why can't we go for the higher order enterprises? They are providing us 35% subsidy, and up to 2 crore the project can be submitted. So it's a very good idea if we want to have some solar dryer and cold storage, etc. So this can be leveraged from the PFME scheme. So they are more than willing to help us. So that window is also available to us. So we need to work in this direction also. So let's work on this convergence part also. And as I was mentioning that we need to work upon the whole of the aquatic system. So I will go beyond that also, aquatic system. Why not the agriculture and the aquatics be taken together? Why not the paddy cultivation, then poultry, duckery, and then the aquatic? All these things can be worked together. I think that can be a good model for the integrated farming cluster also. So that also I will just, so I'm giving you some food for thought and ideas that you can deliberate upon, and I would like you to think about these sectors also. That if we work comprehensively, I think that will make a lot of difference. So just think about this also, that how we can address multiple interventions at a particular spot also. And as Nayak also mentioned, that if there are certain policy level changes are required, so that also need to be addressed. Like in Odisha, he said they are giving certain ponds to the SHGs. So why can't we ask the other state governments also that they need to intervene accordingly, so that if these ponds are provided to the SHG members, so that will make a lot of difference. So that is the other thing I wanted to say. And the next thing I want to say is that we need to make the interventions in the aquatic sector. This can be in the form of producer groups, producer enterprises, or these clusters I mentioned. So that is one part. But if you feel that that is the second stage, and first you want to sensitize the community about the intervention, then we have got this beautiful concept of Matsya Sakhis. So we have trained around 1787 Matsya Sakhis in the country, who are the community resource persons and guiding the community for this sector. So that intervention can also be facilitated, and I'm quite happy that out of 1787, around 500 CRPs are from one state of Assam only. So if one state can make such a large difference, why not the other states can think, oh, it's a very small intervention, you just need to select a community member and then train in this particular sector. Those can provide the continuous hand-holding to the community. And the second part of this is that we need to develop the entrepreneurs also. So those entrepreneurs may like to focus on certain aspects of this aquatic. They may like to work on the feed sector, that what sort of feed can be provided to the fishes. They can work on the seed part, hatchery, etc. So these entrepreneurs can also be developed in various states. So just think about this also, how we can facilitate this type of interventions also. And now as I mentioned that we need to address the whole value chain of the fisheries. So we need to work on that how to preserve the fish. Because I was reading somewhere that if we use this formalin, ammonia, etc. to preserve the fish, they are not good for the health. Now, in fact, some studies that the formalin is carcinogenic. So it's so much dangerous. So we need to properly preserve the fish. So that message should also need to go down the line, that how to preserve the fish. This can be done through freezing, canning, smoking, pickling, etc. So these are some of the steps which can be taken to preserve. Then we need to tackle the forward linkages also. Why can't we work with the big multinational companies also, those who are dealing in the fisheries only? So we can work on that also. So that is the other idea. I will just give my thought that we need to work upon that. So just think about this. And then if we do something good, like we are doing sustainable fishing, like we are doing no juvenile catch will be taken. So we should publicize that also, because now the people are becoming very sensitive and aware also. So we need to publicize this also, that no juvenile is being caught by us, that responsible fishing is being done by us. So that also needs to be publicized properly, I would say, that whenever we do such interventions, and then I am 100% sure that especially as the country is developing and the new generation is coming, they will really appreciate such intervention. So just to think about this also. So in the last, I will wish this conference a very successful idea and brainstorming, and so that we explore these aquatic systems properly, and how we promote sustainable practices, then how the technology and innovation can be ensured, and then the gender integration and the market linkages. So these are some of the ideas which I would leave you with, and I hope that by the end of this conference we will come up with a good strategy paper which will guide us in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And as usual, when we use the livelihood as an instrument to unbox any entity, any term, it leads to the spectrum of the opportunities. And sir, about aquaculture, you defined there are not only fish and the subsistence, but the nutritional aspect, the financial aspect, the value chain aspect. There are so many things. And not only that, there are aquatic aquaculture, ornamental aquaculture, can be explored, pearl culture, etc. And these are the opportunities which we are going to deliberate with the experts sitting in this hall for the next 2 days, sir. Thank you very much. And the most importantly, sir, you also talked about the importance of water. And I just would like to recite one Sanskrit shlokam about water, which is Jalasya Rakshanam Noon Bhavatu, Jal Rakshanam Anivaryam. The importance of water conservation is the common denominator of everything, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for the great keynote address. And I would like to request the team to facilitate the lamp lighting, sir. We have one ritual to perform for the lamp lighting so that we can go for the technical session ahead, sir. So request all the dignitaries on dais for the lamp lighting process. Uma, can you please facilitate? So Charanjit sir, Madam Mute, Rajiv. So with this auspicious ceremony, I would also like to announce that after the inaugural session, we would like to break for tea. However, before going to tea, we also have another event. We have a small marketplace where there are 8 startups and they are here. We would like to thank them as well. So they are here to showcase the technology, the innovation, and that's marketplace is just outside this banquet hall. So I would request Charanjit Singh sir and Madam Ute and other dignitaries to please inaugurate the marketplace, and then we'll go for tea. And then we'll come back here by possibly by 11:35 or 11:40. Thank you very much. मेरा नाम वैभव शर्मा है। मैं GIZ इंडिया से आप सबका स्वागत करता हूं। निवेदन है कि कृपया अपने अपना स्थान ग्रहण करें ताकि हम संगोष्ठी के साथ आगे बढ़ सकें।